Hey guys, welcome to today's show. Excited to have you guys here. If you're listening to it day of, happy Friday. If not, hope your week is going well, whatever day you're catching up on this. Today we're talking about, can you have it all? And this is something that comes up time and time again in the people I talk to, friends, family, clients, you name it. There's this whatever reason, this innate desire to try and strive for more and try and have it all. And while I think there's pieces of that that are good, I also think there's pieces of that that are dangerous. And that's what we want to talk about here today. And there's a belief out there that you can have it all: the family, the job, the money, the health, you name it. The list goes on and on. Is this really attainable though? And is this really worth striving for? Whether you're looking to have it all in one area of your life or across multiple areas of your life, we're going to dive into what this means and what to be aware of when you're striving for this type of life. Now, society's job is to tell us that we can and we should have it all. And just go ahead and watch any advertisement, and they all paint the same picture: a life without struggle, a life full of all the things that you want, happy, no conflict, those types of things. And that can be a problem when we're always surrounded by these things. I don't even know the number of advertisements that we get exposed to a day, but I remember that it's a lot. It's a crazy high number. You can go look it up if you want the exact number, but we get exposed to so many of these things every day that are telling us that we should be doing better. We should strive for more. We can have this, we can have that. And that leads to a bunch of things that we might not want to impress people that might not even matter to us. So we need to take a step back when we're striving for this. Again, I'm all for striving for a better life and striving to improve yourself and improve the lives of those around you, and to serve and give back and elevate your life to elevate the lives of those around you. I'm all for all of that. But you have to know what you're striving for and really have this all in perspective to make sure that you're not just getting caught in a dangerous cycle that you might not want to be in. But I know how frustrating it is, because society and these advertisements and these things make us believe that we're falling short when we don't seem to have it all together, or if we don't have it together as soon as we want. And I see this all the time on varying levels. So on the extreme side, this happens when talking to friends or talking to clients about how they feel they should be further in different areas of their lives, or how they're slipping in certain areas, or how they see these other people from the outside and they're just doing so well or so much further where they want to be. And it can cause you to beat yourself up. It can cause depression, anxiety, overwhelm. It can cause all these things. And that's a big reason why, if you guys have listened to any of the guest episodes on here, I ask each one of our guests what's something they're struggling with, what's something that people don't see on the outside, because we see this perception of, man, this guy's got it all together. He's got the health, the job, this and that. And it's just not true. We see such snapshots that we have to be aware that what we're striving for is actually attainable, and if it's something that we actually want. Now, we see this on big scales, but also see this on the smaller scales as well. And especially my profession, as it relates to people's health, fitness, and their training journeys. Now, some people are training for everything. They want to lose weight. They want to build muscle. They want to improve their cardio time. They want to improve their strength. And I do think a good program can accomplish all of these things. If you're looking for balance across those areas, I think the right programming can do that. If you're disciplined, if you stick with it, if you find a way of programming that works for those things, you can see improvements across those things. Now, depending on where your starting point is, if you've been training for a long time and you've already been working on some of these things, then the conversation becomes a little different. You might need specific things and specific goals to work on to see improvement in those areas. So for example, say you've been strength training since you were a teenager in high school sports, and now you're starting to stall, and you're also trying to work on maybe your 5K time, maybe you're trying to run a half marathon or something. If these things conflict, you can't perform at a high level in both of those if you're continuing to push it on both ends of that, because they do clash in some degree. You have to know what your training goals are in those cases, and you have to know what you want to do. Same thing, you can't expect to lose weight and build muscle simultaneously. We think we can do those, or we have the myth that we can do those, but those things don't really coexist unless you're using an outside supplement, steroids, drug, something that does that, you're not going to achieve that as the average person looking to do that. So those are things to keep in mind on a smaller scale, and that can be applied across different areas of your life. So instead of trying to have it all, let's shift from an outcome goal to a process goal. And let me explain what that means a little bit. I've talked about this in a previous episode, but outcome focus would be, I see myself as having this job and this amount of money and this level of fitness and this and that. And it's okay to visualize those things. It's okay to affirm those things and get yourself in the right headspace to be able to strive for those things. But focusing on the process over the outcome is going to get you much further. So instead of, this is where I want to be, stepping back and saying, okay, this is where I want to be. What process, what action steps do I need to do to make that happen? So say it's a financial goal, say it's buying a house or something. Okay, realistically break down, how much money do we need? How much money do we have to have for this to be in a position to do this? What are we currently making? What do we have to either make in addition to that, save in addition to that? And those are the things, the action things you can start to lay out of clear action steps will take you much further in terms of actually achieving that. And when you can focus on it that way, all of a sudden you start achieving these things without getting so caught up in, oh, am I there yet? Am I there yet? Am I there yet? So focus on the process over the outcome. Now, also remember, having it all is very relative. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a reason I ask the guests that I have on here those questions, because we may see someone as having it all, but they might not see themselves as having it all. They're comparing themselves to the next person, and comparison is a thief. Gratitude is something that you want to take in, be grateful where you're at, while still striving for more. But know what having it all means to you, because it's not something that society can paint. It's not something that you're going to see in an advertisement or a magazine that's going to make you happy. None of those things are going to get you there. So make sure that you're knowing what you're striving for, knowing what having it all means to you. For some people, that could be, you talk to some people, and probably some of the happier people in the world, having a house with some land and a family that's happy and has 3 meals a day. That might be having it all for them. But then you see someone who's got what seems to be it all, and they're still not happy. So know that that's all relative, and be aware of what having it all means for you. Now, if you are striving to improve across all areas of your life, remember some of the following things. There is no such thing as a balanced life. Now, we want this picture of balance, but balance doesn't allow us to excel in the way that we want to. And especially for any of those high performers out there listening, looking to level up a certain area of their life, you have to get out of balance for a little bit. And focusing on everything, trying to be balanced, means that you're going to water down your results and everything as well. So it is okay to go all in on these certain areas at certain times of your life, which is what also you can think of as living out of balance. Now, to give an example to that, if you're looking to get in the best shape of your life, and you have a time frame, let's say you have a wedding or a big event coming up. It can be a child's wedding, it can be your own wedding, and say you're really pushing, you're like, hey, this is important to me, I want to look better than I've ever looked, I have 6 months to do it. Then you might have to do some things that you haven't done before. You might have to get out of your comfort zone. You might have to lean into some more, I hate to use the word extreme, but some more aggressive strategies to lose weight, to lean up. You might have to be more strict on things that you previously would have said yes to. You might have to sacrifice time with your friends, to sleep more, to not go to those social situations. Your work might not be the priority if that's your number one thing. And that's just one example of many of sacrificing in certain areas. And it can work in the exact opposite scenario as well. But sacrificing certain areas, and this doesn't mean neglecting them. This doesn't mean putting them on the back burner, but this does mean taking a little bit of energy away from there to pour into what's most important at the time. So caveat with this is make sure you know how long to stay out of balance without trying to juggle too many things. So you have to experiment and find out, okay, I can stay out of balance for this long before other things start to suffer. And that's when you find that edge, and you bring it back and start focusing on those other things to bring those levels up. But by focusing on one thing at a time, one area of your life, then that can help you make bigger strides than you would if you're trying to focus on 10 different areas of your life at once. But just make sure the things that matter most aren't getting neglected, because at the end of the day, you want to focus on what you can control and what truly matters and let the rest take care of itself. So don't sacrifice what matters the most for what you think matters the most right now. So it's okay to get out of balance a little bit, but don't let that sacrifice relationships, family, some of the most important things in your life. Make sure that you're prioritizing those always. So to wrap it up, it is okay to strive for a better life and to strive for more, but make sure you're not chasing ghosts or running yourself into the ground trying to accomplish these elusive goals that might not even be attainable. Trying to strive for it all without even knowing what that means is a recipe for feeling burnt out and feeling let down. So instead, try defining what matters in the areas of your life that matter the most and find an objective measure to shoot for. So like I talked about earlier in the health example, you can pick one area of your life that you'd most like to improve on and go to work on it. Go get to work on it. Try and drive that area up as much as you can. And then as soon as you push that area of your life up, move on to the next one. So once that's improved, just keep moving on to the next one on the list, the next most important thing, and keep moving forward. So if you do need help on getting clear on your goals and your purpose and finding out how to take action that actually moves you closer to those things, then I have a link in the show notes here to download our free PDF. It's the 5 steps you need to achieve your big goals. And this is something, the exact goal setting process that I take my clients that I work through with, and how to set goals and how to actually work backwards to find action steps to achieve them. So if you guys want to check that out, go ahead and head over to the show description. As always, if you guys need anything or want to see certain content, go ahead and reach out. You can send me an email. If you guys have that, it's an easy way to get a hold of me on Facebook or joining our Men Made for More Facebook group. So go ahead and check out some of those resources. Reach out if you guys need anything. Thanks for listening in, guys. Keep chasing progress, but don't fall into the trap of perfection or striving to have it all. Have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you guys next week.